Tell me about that belief your grandmother had in you, and tell me a bit about how she planted that deep seed, because I think what you said at the beginning, that we need that example, I think everyone, if they really reflected, there'd be someone in their life, either indirectly or directly, but sometimes we forget them. But when we've been talking and everything, your grandmother's been such a pivotal figure.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd love for you to share what you think she did that was so powerful, because maybe there are some parents listening today, and brothers and sisters and grandmothers and grandparents listening today, and they'll be able to do that for their children and grandchildren.
My father, my mother, and my grandmother, whenever I think about the three of them, I picture a triangle in my mind. And I see, like, my father was the base as discipline. And my mother didn't care about anything but education. Like, that you had to learn, grow, study, travel. Like, my mother was really serious about educating the mind. And my grandmother was love and God. My grandmother was that grandmother at Resurrection Baptist Church. And she had, we were doing our Easter recitations, and we was at the nativity, So she was that grandmother at the church, and her life was deeply devoted to God and Jesus in the form of loving service, right? So the form that it took was she was working hard to love everybody. I remember my grandmother bringing homeless people into our house when we were little and washing them in our bathtub. I thought that was the nastiest thing. I was like, ah! But she would be in the bathroom with her hands washing homeless people, And as a child, it was like, no! But as I grew older, I just saw how dedicated and devoted she was to living her life in service. It took me 50 years to figure, to figure out what the secret of that was, but there was a day of her life that wasn't devoted to loving and serving, and I just watched her. She worked the graveyard shift at the hospital, and she watched us, my brothers and sisters, during the day while my parents were at work, and then when my parents got off work, then she would take a little nap, and then she would go to work at the hospital, and she was the happiest person that I had ever met. Nothing fazed her. She was okay. And I remember I was about 12 and I had started rapping. And, so I had my rap book, so I had all my little curse words and everything in my rap book. And she found my rap book, and she never said anything, and she just opened the cover and she wrote a letter to me. Dear Willard, truly intelligent people do not have to use words like this to express themselves. God has given you the gift of words. Be sure to use those words to uplift people. And I was sitting, I was reading that, and just love Gigi.
Yeah.
And that was part of the reason why I never used profanity in any of my music. Yeah. And it was like she missionized me in that way to make sure that what I was doing was uplifting others, and when you're telling stories, you can always find the part of the story that is a gift for the potential upliftment of somebody that would see it, so, but yeah, she was all God, all love.
I love that, man. That's such a beautiful story. I hadn't heard that one before.
Oh, we hadn't talked about
we hadn't talked about that one.
When your grandmother finds your rap book and you got curse words in it, it's a bad look. It's a bad look.
Well, it's good that you found it that early and that had such an impact on you and brought you out.